night for the captain, Sergio Ramos.
Bullet header from Sergio Ramos.
Sergio Ramos is there blocking.
And Ramos, who's hurt himself in the process, had to take decisive action.
Sergio Ramos to the rescue for Real.
Sergio Ramos, I think, is one of the top 3 in the history of football, maybe even top 2 by this stage.
Love him or hate him, Sergio Ramos is one of the most polarizing and successful players in football history. He's a player I'm sure most Liverpool fans can't get enough of. Some say he's overrated, and some say he doesn't get enough credit. But today, we'll find out the truth about Sergio Ramos.
It's a header from Sergio Ramos! Ramos!
Sergio Ramos has won everything that football has to offer, but the journey has been a grueling one for Ramos. He began his career at Sevilla's youth academy and earned his way into the first team by the age of 18. As a youngster, Ramos showed glimpses of his superstar potential, including this stunning strike against future team Real Madrid while he was still wearing the red and white of Sevilla. Ramos had big ambitions and the winning mentality to match his ambitions, which was one of the driving factors behind his move from Sevilla to Real Madrid after just one season playing for Sevilla's senior team. Speaking to the Sevilla president at the time, Ramos said that he was willing to accept a lifetime contract at Sevilla and that he wanted to stay forever, but that he wanted to play for a winning club. During the summer of 2005, just after Ramos' first season at Sevilla, he was sold to Real Madrid for 27 million euros, a record for a Spanish defender and an astronomical fee for a teenager at the time. Ramos had an up and down start to his life at Real Madrid. He displayed 2 of his most recognizable traits that he still carries to this day: his aggressive nature and his goal-scoring abilities. Ramos accumulated 9 red cards in his first 4 years, including 4 in his debut season for Real Madrid. However, he also found the back of the net over 20 times, which is an amazing return for a defender. Ramos was often featured in many positions over his first few years in Madrid. At the beginning of his career, he was deployed as a right back and even as a CDM when Madrid was short-handed. Ramos also featured as a right back for Spain, including their 2008 Euros and 2010 World Cup winning campaigns, where Ramos was the starting right back in several key games, including the Euro 2008 final against Germany and the 2010 World Cup final against the Netherlands. Back in 2010, Paolo Maldini, who was widely recognized as one of the best center backs to ever lace them up, described Ramos as "my heir in football." He's still young but very quick, powerful and has great technique. Strong praise for a young Ramos from one of the legends of the game.
Sì, ma non solo quest'anno, ma anche gli altri anni, quindi lui merita ogni premio che riesce a vincere, certo.
Sergio Ramos blocking, put 2 men on him. But whatever they do, it's not enough. But it's all about determination, awareness, anticipation.
During the next few years, Ramos grew massively as a player, becoming a consistent force for Real Madrid's starting 11. He was as brilliant as ever during the early 2010s, but Real Madrid would often fall just short in their quest for trophies. However, Ramos and Madrid would recover from their struggles and in 2014 go on to capture one of Madrid's most anticipated titles, La Decima, the long-awaited 10th Champions League crown that Madridistas had long been dreaming for. During that legendary Champions League campaign, Ramos produced 2 iconic games for Madrid. One of those iconic performances came in the semi-finals against Bayern Munich in 2014 in the second leg, which was played in Munich. Madrid had won the first leg at home 1-0, which meant that the tie was up for grabs. Well, until Ramos walked into the building, that is. In the 16th minute of the game, Ramos latched onto a fantastic cross from Luka Modric to rifle in a bullet header past Manuel Neuer, and he wasn't done. Just 4 minutes later, Ramos was on the end of another set piece as he headed in a cross after a flick from Pepe, and just like that, in a matter of 4 minutes, Ramos had 2 massive away goals to effectively end the tie and send his team on to the final. He also did a brilliant job defending, as he had helped Madrid keep a clean sheet against the reigning European champions. He was strong, aerially dominant, and composed as Madrid advanced to the Champions League final 5-0 on aggregate. And of course, his biggest moment. Who can forget his heroics against Atletico Madrid in the 2014 Champions League final? Real Madrid had been desperate to equalize for the majority of the game after Atletico's first goal in the 36th minute. The game was down to the last few minutes of added time, and who was there to the rescue? It wasn't Bale, and it wasn't Ronaldo, but it was Sergio Ramos with an incredible header in the 93rd minute of the game when all hope had seemed lost. Ramos was one of Madrid's most influential players on the night when the attacking threat was lacking for most of the game. He took his team to extra time and Madrid claimed their dream prize, a 10th Champions League trophy. This would be the catalyst for Madrid's success in the Champions League, as they would go on to win 3 Champions Leagues back to back to back. An unprecedented accomplishment, with Ramos playing a big part in the success of Madrid, scoring several key goals and also with his top-notch defending. Ramos had certainly developed into what many would consider one of the best center backs in the world, if not the best.
It's one of those tackles where Ramos had committed himself to the ball. Oh, straight red! Ramos is off! Goodness.
Throughout his long and illustrious career, Ramos has built a reputation as an aggressive defender who at times does allow his aggression to get the better of him. Although a few may be unjustified, Ramos has accumulated 26 red cards thus far in his career. His reputation is especially highlighted in the El Clasico fixtures versus Barcelona, in which he has tallied 5 red cards. He does have a tendency to go into rash challenges and get over-aggressive in his defending. However, this can be positive and a negative aspect to his game. Ramos does commit unnecessary fouls and challenges, but an overlooked positive aspect is the tackles that he wins which disrupt the other team's attack, and he prevents counterattacks high up the pitch before the team can move into the final third. His intuitive aggression often prevents golden chances for the opposition before they materialize because of Ramos' style of defending. This style of defending is also essential to the type of football both Madrid and especially Spain like to play. Both teams are sides that like to dominate with possession-orientated attack, and that often requires pressing high up the field to win the ball. Ramos also has one skill that makes him unique compared to every other center back. In more recent years, he has gained a reputation as being one of the most clutch players in the world. He has had several key moments and clutch goals against some of the toughest opponents. But that's not all there is to Ramos. He has the pace to keep up with the quickest players, the understanding and technical ability to read the game effectively, and his passing is truly elite for his position. In terms of traits you would want in a center back, he has every qualification necessary to perform at the highest level. For his role in Madrid's team, he has the responsibility of playing the ball out of the back and distributing it to the midfielders and wide players, which he does exceptionally well. His long-range diagonal passing is one of the best in world football. Ramos is truly a gifted technical player. His defensive ability is also an aspect of the game that often gets overshadowed by his goal scoring. Ramos has the admiration of his opponents, including Sergio Aguero, Luis Suarez, and Diego Costa, who have all said that Sergio Ramos is the toughest defender that they have had to deal with in their careers. His defensive abilities and his eye for a goal from set pieces, compounded with his recent accomplishments, has nearly eliminated any doubts that Ramos belongs among the all-time great defenders. Ramos has won everything that is available to be won in both club and national levels of football. Ramos has won 20 trophies at the club for Real Madrid, including 4 Champions League titles, 4 La Liga titles, and 4 FIFA Club World Cup titles. Ramos has also played a part in all 3 international titles, contributing to the Euro 2008, World Cup 2010, and Euro 2012 winning campaigns. Ramos has won the Champions League 3 times in a row and has won 3 straight international trophies with Spain, the only player in football history to be able to boast these accomplishments. Ramos is one of the most decorated players in the history of the sport. He has the silverware to prove that he belongs in the conversation amongst the very best. A true Galactico who represents everything Real Madrid stands for.
They are serial winners, and he is the captain of a team of serial winners, and nobody really does it better in terms of leadership and ability from the centre-half position in Europe at the moment. Sergio Ramos with the medal and about to step forward to lift the Champions League